What's up, y'all? We are back at it. Y'all already know what this is. You're now rocking with the best. Welcome back, y'all, to the best of seven sports talk. Let me turn my mic up. So it's official. Pretty much everybody knowing about this, but it's official today. Kyrie Irving has re-signed with the Dallas Mavericks. It looked like it's a 3-year deal, about $42 million per year, $126 million deal over 3 years. I am going to be honest. I figured that Kyrie was probably going to do and take the safe bet and stay with Dallas, knowing that the marketplace for him overall wasn't going to be as big as you would expect someone of his caliber to be at point guard. Potential, I think Kyrie is one of the top point guards in the National Basketball Association. There's no denying that. But the baggage that he carries with him when we talk about attitude and just stuff like that, I think it's been a problem, of course, for a lot of GMs, a lot of owners and stuff when we have conversations about signing Kyrie to a long-term deal and how is that going to, affect the locker room as well as the environment of the city. Now, staying with Dallas, at the end of the day, like I said, I figure it's the safest bet. If he wasn't going to be able to lock in with LA with the Lakers and take less money, I figured he was going to stay in Dallas. But I still don't see Dallas making a major run for a championship in the Western Conference. I still can't see it. I do believe that the chemistry problem that him and Luka had last year, I think they'll figure that out. But at the end of the day, I'm just not sold that they have enough right now to like really be a major threat like they were before. It's so interesting to me because sometimes I feel like when it comes to Luka, he's just better off being by himself. Of course, no one player can win an NBA championship, but Luka gives me the impression that he has this makeup that he just needs a bunch of role players and stuff like that. If you have a certain caliber person, it might not work. Now, I know he went to the Western Conference Finals with Jalen Brunson. That was basically Jalen Brunson's coming out party. We see what he's doing in New York. But you look at the potential that we thought he may have with Kristaps Porzingis, and Kristaps immediately wanted out of Dallas, and then watching Kyrie come into the mix last year, how they came up short from even making the play-in. They came up short from even making the play-in last year, and I thought that was a major disappointment. But one of the reasons why I felt like Kyrie and Luka and Dallas, of course, just didn't make it last year, they had no identity. Kyrie coming into Dallas, everybody know this was the Mavericks team, and he wanted to defer to Luka, especially in the fourth quarter when game was crunch time. But I'm assuming that Luka and all the same wanted to ingratiate Kyrie into the offense in the fourth quarter. So we saw a couple games where Dallas between Luka and Kyrie was having some issues trying to figure out who should take the last shot, who should take the lead in the fourth quarter. And they lost a few games because of that problem. And if they would have won those games, they would have been in the play-in. Now, like I said, I think they'll get that problem fixed overall. But when you look at some of the other teams in the Western Conference, teams have just simply gotten better. So just because Luka and Kyrie can figure their chemistry problem out, that doesn't automatically equate for them to, be more successful. And I'm not sure. I don't know if Christian Woods, I think they may have lost Christian Woods to free agency or something's going on with him. I got to kind of check that situation out. But Dallas made it official this afternoon, re-signing Kyrie Irving to a 3-year deal worth $126 million. He's going to be actually changing his jersey number as well. Kyrie is going back to number 11 with the Dallas Mavericks. So it's pretty much official. As you can see from the Kyrie Center, players in NBA history with 275 plus points, 50 plus rebounds, and 60 plus assists in their first 10 games with the franchise. Kyrie Irving is the only player in NBA history to put up those numbers within his first 10 games with an organization, that being the Dallas Mavericks. last season. So I'm happy to know that we will definitely see Kyrie in a uniform this upcoming season. I am a little bit disappointed that he wasn't able to link up with LeBron and the Lakers, but I kind of expected that. He got the safe route here in Dallas. We're gonna see how it play out, but I'm just not like 100,000% sold that this is going to change any needle in the Western Conference. They're gonna need more help. They're gonna definitely need more help, no doubt about that. But y'all let me know in the comment section what y'all think about Kyrie Irving signing this 3-year deal. And I don't even know if this is max dollars. I'm not sure if this is max dollars, but as far as production, for what it's worth, Kyrie played well. I thought he played well at certain parts in Brooklyn, even though Brooklyn had a lot of drama, a lot of controversy going down last season. But when we saw Kyrie, I thought Kyrie played well. For those couple weeks at that point when Kevin Durant had got hurt and he was out for like that month, Ben Simmons had like a couple scoreless games. Kyrie kept Brooklyn in the float. That's why one of the reasons why Brooklyn was so I think they make the play-in tournament last year. I think the Brooklyn Nets. They either made the playoffs or they made the play-in or they was just on the outside looking in. It was something like that. But they did pretty well. Kyrie did pretty well with them. And then coming into the Dallas Mavericks, 25 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. Also trying to figure out where you belong at in that offense. I thought Kyrie was pretty special. I'm not gonna say special. I take that back. He wasn't special, but he did his thing, so to speak. I don't know how Dallas went backwards though. That's the thing. Like nobody really cares about Kyrie what his individual numbers was looking like in Dallas when they lost. Expectations may not always be Larry O'Brien trophy for the Mavericks, but you got to have they've been in the playoffs every year. Luka had them boys in the postseason every year. So if you get Kyrie Irving, you think it's pretty much automatic that you're setting yourself up for some type of success. And that just didn't happen. It was kind of like a downhill situation last season, but I don't know. But I am excited to see Kyrie back in the in uniform. It's not going to make any difference to me. And who knows? He may not even finish this 3 years in Dallas. He may not. I don't believe. And when I think about it, to be honest, I don't think he's going to finish his 3 seasons. Can y'all honestly see Kyrie Irving in the Dallas Mavericks uniform for another 3 seasons playing out this whole contract? Like one way or another, I'm not really sure that it's going to happen, especially if they're not winning early. Kyrie has bucked on every team he has played for. The Cleveland Cavaliers, the Boston Celtics, the Brooklyn Nets. He's bucked on every team. So some may say it's only a matter of time before we see that same energy in a Dallas Mavericks uniform. They better win sooner than later. I had to say that. They're going to have to win sooner than later, but I don't see him really finishing out. I don't think he's going to be I don't know, because I'm not going to call him a troublemaker, but it just seemed like a lot of controversy was following him due to some of the actions that he did. But I don't think he's going to cause a lot of friction and confusion, in that locker room. Of course, I saw him with Mark Cuban. They was at the Summer League game today. So, you always get a good vibe when everything is going well. If Dallas starts to struggle this season, we're going to have to kind of tap in and figure out what's the problem, who's the problem, and at the end of the day, eventually, what is going to be the remedy. I still believe that Kyrie Irving is a championship type of player at point guard. I don't think he's a number one, whereas though you can like lead an offense through him to the promised land, not at all. But what he brings to the table, still to me the best ball handler in the league, championship cachet. He got a shot. He can shoot the basketball. He's not a high turnover type of player. I like Kyrie if all the stars is aligned, but that's just a lot people have to be asking for when we talk about Kyrie Irving. So y'all definitely let me know what y'all think about the Dallas Mavericks re-signing Kyrie Irving to a 3-year deal. Most people figured this was already going to happen. Is this a big mistake that Dallas is making? I think they both kind of need each other at this point. Kyrie realized a lot of teams is not going to put up big money for him, giving him the deal that he probably want. And I don't think that Dallas, there's really nobody out there that could replace what Kyrie can bring to the table. And I think they still want to see if this thing still work with Luka Doncic at the end of the day. Kyrie is just a bucket and a handle at this point. He's not a leader at all. He's not going to elevate a team. Well, I mean, that could be true. I'm not going to disagree with that, Kay, but what about Luka? How much of a leader do you think Luka is? Because Jalen Brunson, he didn't stay. They went to the Western Conference Finals and he went and took the money. Remember the head coach, Rick Carlisle. He didn't get along with Luka and he quit. He won an NBA championship in Dallas with Dirk Nowitzki and all and was it Jason Kidd and them guys back in 2010 against LeBron and them. He quit because he couldn't get along with Luka. And in the Kristaps Porzingis situation, we thought maybe Luka and Kristaps Porzingis hooking up last year will be doing something. Kristaps immediately went out of Dallas. So, I don't know about the leadership of Luka. I think it feels like to me, Luka is one of those players that he just needs a whole bunch of role players. He needs to be like the hero, the Superman. I'm just not sure if that's actually the case. Yeah, I agree, bro. Luka is pretty much the same at the end of the day. Next up here on the best of 7, before I get up out of here, I am going to do some live reaction. Shout out to Dreamers Pro, the homie Charleston, I believe that's his name, from Dreamers Pro. He did a video on Ben Simmons that I was looking at earlier today. I didn't get to watch the whole thing, but I did want to kind of try to react to what he had was saying about Ben Simmons as of late. Now, it's funny because my guy, Rasheed White, I know some of you guys know Rasheed White from Sports to the Wire. He got it out for Dreamers Pro. He creates a lot of content, and I know I see a little bit of back and forth. I tried to get to see if those two guys did want to do a debate on my platform, but Charleston declined to respond. But I don't know, when it comes to Ben Simmons and stuff like that, Rasheed don't play. He's a big time Brooklyn Nets fan. So you come at Brooklyn, the homie Rasheed White is going to kind of get crazy. You already know how you do. So shout out to Rasheed White. Shout out to Dreamers Pro. If you guys have not subscribed to Dreamers Pro, make sure y'all subscribe to their platform for sports. I like that platform. I think he got a nice platform. His titles, the way he delivers the content, he quick dropping daily content. So y'all check out Dreamers Pro. But let's take a look at this situation that he's saying with about the disappointment with Ben Simmons. Let's get into it.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles Sebastian. I want to welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamers Pro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and where we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today, we're going to be talking about that damn Ben Simmons. But before we get into it, please make sure you like the video. And
every time he makes a Ben Simmons video, my homie Rasheed White make his own video going at him. Like Rasheed White this video came out yesterday? And last night, Rasheed White dropped another video on Dreamers Pro getting on him for talking about Ben Simmons. I told you, Rasheed White does not play when it comes to the Brooklyn Nets, especially when Dreamers Pro is talking.
Subscribe to the channel. Now, all of you guys know my feelings towards Ben Simmons. I've been saying now for years that I believe that Ben Simmons is wasting everyone's time. I've been saying that. Now, I've made some enemies online. Some people that are Ben Simmons supporters, they've come after me and say, "Oh,
He talking about Rasheed White.
yo,
He
you
talking
don't know basketball." Imagine.
about Yo, I'm gonna keep it real. This the only thing I don't like about you, Charleston. And I get it because people do this a lot. But you be talking about Rasheed, you be responding to Rasheed White, but you don't be trying to mention his name. And I know you don't want to give him clout. You definitely got a popular channel, so it just seemed like you're not trying to mention his name because you don't want to give him some attention. But if you're not going to do that, what's the point of keep speaking on him? Because I know that you are responding to the consistent, type of content that he make towards you when you do these videos. So stop all the cap though, Charleston, and call Rasheed ass out, man. Keep it 100.
Imagine, because I said Ben Simmons is not a very good basketball player. There's some that have actually told me that, oh, you don't know anything about basketball. Let's just get to the
That's
quick here.
Rasheed.
Ben Simmons has been a total disappointment, an absolute disappointment, like a total disappointment
I
on
agree.
every metric you have. You can weigh it. He's been a
I
disappointment.
agree 100%. I've been trying to tell Rasheed White many a times. You got Ben Simmons who, because see, what Rasheed likes to do is throw all the accolades of Ben Simmons in your face. What I like to do is bring Rasheed back down to reality as far as what we're actually seeing. Don't talk to me to death about he's a 3-time All-Star or a great facilitator or a all defensive player. Like, we're not going to take away nothing that he's done. But what does that matter when you're scared to play this game? That be my thing. What does it matter when you're scared to play this game?
Ben Simmons, before he came into the NBA, I want to just jog some of you guys' memories. Ben Simmons was being compared to, or being, a lot of people were comparing him to LeBron James. Think, just think about that for a second. People out there were saying that Ben Simmons could possibly be the next LeBron James. Just you think about that. You're being compared to a top 5 player of all time, and you have those type of comparisons. What do you think one would do? One would think, okay, Ben Simmons would.
Now that's a little bit of cat. There was comparisons about Ben Simmons and LeBron. That is fact. Dreamers Pro is not lying on that, but he's incomplete because the comparisons was strictly about the floor general, the facilitator, the passing ability. That's what people was harping on when we compared Ben Simmons to LeBron. Nobody felt overall Ben Simmons is going to be the next face of the NBA or be in a GOAT argument or conversation and things like that. So let's cut the cap a little bit. You definitely right. There was comparison, but it was based off of the floor vision, the court vision, the guard, the facilitator ability. That's what that was about.
Do everything in his humanly possible to go out there and ensure that these people are right. So what happens is, first year he has a stellar year in the NBA. Next season he does very well as well. Throughout the course of his career, I think he became an all-star. Yes, he did become an all-star. He made multiple all-defensive teams. If I'm not mistaken, he made 3 all-star teams. He made an all-NBA team, all-third. He made 2 defensive teams, 2 second all-defensive teams, and he won the Rookie of the Year. And this Ben Simmons led the league in steals back in 2020. Then the following season, his numbers went up, and then we started to notice a decline in his production.
Right.
Then what happened? There's the infamous game that he had, the game 7 against the Atlanta Hawks, where he passed up an open layup to pass it to his teammate, who ended up getting fouled. Then he went multiple games where he barely scored in the fourth quarter, multiple single-point games.
That's
and
a
at
fact.
the end of that series,
That's a fact.
Joel Embiid and Doc Rivers made some comments about him. Ben Simmons took him very personally and said, "Hey, I want to be up out of here." Right? Basically staged a mutiny, refused to go to work, and then ultimately got traded to the Brooklyn Nets. Then some people were up there twerking it up in celebrations for the fact that the Brooklyn Nets landed Ben Simmons. And at that time, I was saying to myself, do these people understand who the hell they're talking about right now? We're talking about Ben Simmons here. And y'all are up.
Now, I'm going to keep it real. I didn't have that energy for Ben Simmons when he came to Brooklyn. I really thought that was a good move. So, you know what I'm saying? I don't agree so much with that sentiment when the announcement was made that Ben Simmons was going to Brooklyn, because I felt like the only thing that Ben needed was a fresh start somewhere else to play. And then he was going to be playing along Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant. So I thought it was really tailor-made. And to be in Brooklyn, you know what I mean? You was going to be competing for a championship. So I just thought that Ben Simmons just needed a new locale, a new environment, getting out of Philly, because you saw how Doc Rivers did him. You saw how Joel Embiid did him after they had lost in the playoffs. I just figured he just needed to get out that Philadelphia area. But as you can see, it was deeper than that.
Up there twerking it up. Do you know this guy? So what happens? He gets to Brooklyn, and in his first healthy season in Brooklyn, he plays 42 games, or at least a season he was able to play. And in that season, he averaged 6.9 points per game on 56% shooting. Of course, Hall of Fame, 0% from the three-point line, 44% from the free throw line, with 6.3 rebounds, 6.1 assists, 2.3 turnovers, 1.3 steals, and became basically relegated to a guy coming off the bench.
And it was crazy. I didn't fault him for that, though, because I didn't feel like they was going to need him to put up like high expectation offensive numbers, as long as you had Kevin Durant that was healthy and Kyrie, as long as he was going to play, and everybody else. I felt like Ben Simmons just needed to like plug the pieces together, like be the floor general, the facilitator that people believed that he was when they compared him with LeBron James. So I thought that's when that skill set really was going to come into play above anything else.
A guy that basically refused to shoot the ball. So what happened this morning? I came across an article here from fadeawayworld.net, which basically is talking about the fact that the Nets could trade Ben Simmons in a 3-team deal. But before we get into this news, this video was brought to you by sponsor Aura, who's also the official sponsor of the T-Wolves. Do you know what the fastest growing crime in America?
And my guys got sponsors and all that.
What has been start getting really compromised. If you think with Aura, which happened in addition by Aura, by involving the Brooklyn Nets, Miami, and Portland, the Nets indeed enter the new. They come with the play of sending Ben Simmons to a different team. The guard has 2 years remaining on his $177 million deal. Earlier, NBA insider Brian Windhorst called it the worst contract ever in the league.
Wow.
It goes on to say, no one is saying that the Nets had a great option. Windhorst said on ESPN and NBA cross court. But when you look at his contract, Ben Simmons owed nearly $80 million over the next 2 years and hasn't been able to finish the season or last this season. His future is completely undecided. And he recently broke up with his agent. That's what Brian Windhorst had to say. So the question.
That is crazy, though, when you think about that. Like, not only, and then it just leads more to wondering, you're like, does Ben Simmons have like really mental issues? Not like on no retarded type of stuff, but like the quote unquote mental health thing. Is that really an impact for Ben Simmons? Because it seemed like everywhere he go, like he cannot escape some BS. If I'm not mistaken, like didn't he just recently have like a situation with some female or something like that? I don't know specifically, but I don't want to use the word trouble, but it seemed like drama follows this boy everywhere he go, from Philly to Brooklyn. And I don't know how that would play in Miami because Pat Riley and Jimmy Butler and them, they zero tolerance for like laziness. They are a blue collar organization. They all about, tying up your boots and getting to work. I don't know. I don't know what type of role Ben Simmons really could play in the Miami Heat. I really don't. Because the way what we have seen in the last couple years, with all due respect, is completely opposite from what we know of the Heat culture. So him staying in Miami with Dame and Jimmy Butler and all that, and then let's say for instance that doesn't work. You would have had Ben Simmons now play with Jimmy Butler and Joel Embiid, and it didn't work. He would have played with Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, and it didn't work. And then he would have basically been playing with Jimmy Butler and Damian Lillard, and it wouldn't work. It would be fair to say that Ben Simmons would be very toxic. And then he don't even shoot 3-pointers. I think he has three 3-point attempts in his career. Like, it bugs me out how this guy gets away with not even attempting to shoot a 3-pointer. Like, it's crazy.
The question then becomes, why is he saying that this is the worst contract in the NBA or ever? Why is he saying that? Well, it's simple. Number one, you got to look at the dollars committed. And some people say, well, why are we looking at that? Well, the reason Ben Simmons made all that money at that time was based off of the trajectory.
That's a fact.
That he was on.
That's a fact.
We then have to ask the question, after you looked at these numbers, his numbers over the last few seasons, has Ben Simmons been improving? Well, the answer is absolutely not. He's not been improving.
That's another reality. The question, though, has been why. Is it on Ben Simmons? Is it his surroundings? It gets to a point now, to be honest, you can't really blame no one else for Ben Simmons' shortcomings other than Ben Simmons. Every situation isn't ideal. Brooklyn is definitely not Philadelphia, so I get that. But again, being able to start over fresh, being able to be with a contender, playing alongside Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, at least offensively, you're not going to be asked to put up big like scoring numbers. Like, and Rasheed White likes to point out about this back injury that Ben Simmons had, because a lot of people want to talk about Ben Simmons being hurt. I'm not going to say he faking the injury or nothing like that. I believe he probably was really hurt. But the demise that we have seen from Ben Simmons in this last handful of years hasn't been due all to no damn back surgery. And I be having to talk to the bosses about my guy Rasheed White, because he keep trying to put that narrative out there to the NBA community, and Rasheed White knows I don't appreciate it.
Let me give you guys another fun fact. Ben Simmons has only made 5 3-point shots since he's been in the NBA.
5. That's crazy.
So in 5 years, Ben Simmons has made 5 3-pointers.
That's crazy, bro. 5 3-pointers in 5 years. Ben Simmons.
In 5 years. But of course,
he's not a center neither.
You have the folks out there that will tell you, no, it's not Ben Simmons' fault. It's this guy's fault. It's that guy's fault. I was even listening to Nick Wright the other day, and he doesn't believe that Ben Simmons will be in the league past next year. What team is going to pick him up?
Wow. Nick Wright with a hot take saying that he don't believe Ben Simmons is going to be in the league after next year. I don't know about all that. I mean, Ben Simmons is what, 6'10", 6'11", around that. I know we having this conversation about how committed or not committed he is, but you can't just pass up. We've seen crazier happen in the NBA. I'm not going to say Nick Wright is bugging out. I'm really not going to say that. I doubt it. I really think out of 30 teams, somebody. See, that's the problem. I don't think it's about a team wanting Ben Simmons or not wanting Ben Simmons. You would think that the Washington Wizards or the Charlotte Hornets or some of these terrible teams at the at the end of the day, they would pick him up. But why invest in something that you don't even know is going to be available for you? I think that's the thing. Nobody knows what type of time Ben Simmons is on. So for when you look at it in that angle and aspect, Nick Wright could be kind of onto something. We may be seeing the last days of Ben Simmons, especially if his heart is not in it. Especially if his heart is not in it. But again, man, shout out to Dreamers Pro, man. I'm gonna go ahead and
recently talk about his
in this live stream, but I did want to check out what Dreamers Pro had to say about Ben Simmons. I know my guy Rasheed White. Every time Dreamers Pro do a video on Ben Simmons or the Brooklyn Nets, my man Rasheed White from Sports to the Wire, he go off. So I said, let me go check out what Dreamers Pro had to say. And Rasheed, I'm sorry, Playboy, but for the most part, I think Dreamers Pro was absolutely spot on about Ben Simmons. All right, guys, that is about it. It is a wrap. You guys have been rocking with the best. This is the Best of 7 Sports Talk. I'm Seven Mitchell. Salute to my brother K Doze, who was joining me in the live chat. If you guys are new to this platform and if you enjoy daily NBA content, make sure you subscribe to this platform. Also, if you guys are on social media, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook, give the brother a follow, man. Like I said, we out here doing our numbers and providing that NBA content to you guys 365, 24/7, 7 days a week. Y'all already know the vibes. Y'all stay safe. Y'all already know how I give it up, man. Seven Mitchell here with the Best of 7. I'll be back at you guys tomorrow morning with another live stream. So hit that notification bell. We're going to do it all over again in the AM, man. Y'all stay safe. Salute again to the NBA community. And I am out, y'all. Be good. Peace.